Cannondale SuperSix Evo. Is it everything I remembered, but just newer and better? Or is it not? This is my first take. Roll that intro. Hello everyone, how are you? This is yours truly, Diabetic Cycling, coming at you once again with another episode. This is a channel sponsored by my own wallet, brought to you by your engagement. So I would absolutely appreciate you hitting that like button and ask me any questions down below. And most importantly, hit that subscribe button so I could come see you more often. So earlier in the intro, I had mentioned how I am back home. What do I mean by that? So maybe 9-10 years ago, when I returned to road cycling seriously and I began to rack up miles again as a diehard roadie, I spent just a ton of time and rode just a ton of miles on a Cannondale SuperSix Evo. I believe it was actually known back then just a Cannondale Evo HiMod. And at the time, Peter Sagan, who was with the Cannondale team, was riding the Evo. And I had it built as a light bike. And I just have this fond memories and memories and memories on that bike, because I literally went everywhere on that bike with my homies. So fast forward to year 2024, what you see in the background is my 2024 Cannondale SuperSix Evo HiMod. So as you guys are all familiar, probably Cannondale last year released their Lap 71 trim, which is even one model, one trim higher up than the HiMod. So Lap 71 moniker is given to the lightest, and it's the one that pros ride. Although there was that whole debacle about the team selling their Lap 71 painted bikes, but there was a disclaimer how they weren't Lap 71, they were just a HiMod. It was actually this thing. But I'm not here to talk about that, so let's shift our focus back. My first initial impression of the bike. So normally I put out full review episodes after maybe minimum 750 miles to about 1,000 miles, because I think it takes that amount of miles to really get a feel for a bike. When the bike is brand new, when it was freshly put together, I mean, nothing creaks, everything is freshly lubed or waxed nowadays. And you're not gonna, and the whole blink factor and reality distortion field of new shiny object syndrome. So I don't really like doing any sort of a review when a bike is new. And it's also why I don't give any credence to bike reviews where reviewer only spends a couple hours on it and puts out a review. Not that it's not possible to get good impression, but anyhow. So let's talk about this particular model. So mine is built up with the Cannondale SuperSix Evo HiMod frame set. I was actually able to obtain the Momo design integrated handlebar cockpit that goes with this bike. And mostly it's a Shimano Ultegra 12-speed Di2 affair. Only exception would be the rotors. I do have Dura Ace rotors on there, not because I'm trying to do anything special, but those were the rotors I had lying around. And then my saddle is a Sala Italia Boost SLR with the flow cut out in the middle, Cannondale seat post. Let's see, my front crank's at 50-34. In the rear, I'm running 1134, and what else? My bars are 38 centimeters wide at the hood, And then that's about it. And most of the time, but the bike is rolling on Shimano Dura Ace C36 at the front and C50 in the back. Now, a lot of the times I actually swap the wheels back and forth, especially that front one to another C50, which right now is attached to my Specialized Tarmac SL8, which I'm going to bring you another set of videos on. Actually, I'm doing a whole series, the SuperSix Evo versus SL8 Tarmac. So the wheels are moving back and forth right now, and I purposely did it that way because when you have the same maker's wheels, it's much easier to swap the wheels back and forth because of the same hub spacing. If you try to go to like a zip to NV, NV to zip, you can't because you have to readjust the calipers as the two companies use different hub spacing, whereas I could freely go back and forth from Dura Ace wheels from bike one to another bike. Anyhow, so that's usually what I'm rolling on, but for the comparison's sake with the Tarmac, I am moving wheels back and forth just so that, you know, one set of wheels doesn't skew my opinion of a bike. That said, my bike is a size 51. I do size down. Those of you who are familiar with all my previous bike that I was showing you, that I had the opportunity to own and ride and put thousands of miles on, you guys all know that I size down on purpose. Variety of different reasons why I do that, and maybe another episode if you're interested in that, why I do it that way, leave a comment down below and then I'll put that episode together. All right, so ride impression. So far I've, let's see, yeah, so it's about a few miles shy of 200 miles. So the longest ride on this bike so far has been only 75 miles. Then couple short ones, couple medium rides. And this is again the reason why I want to put out a full review video after I put a lot more miles on it. Especially I want to do at least 100 mile, 10,000 feet ride on it, just so that I know it a little bit better, get a little bit more intimate with that bike. In the meantime, I've had a couple of different rides on it, hence this is just the first impression, it's initial impression, and I might change my mind after I have more miles on this bike, but right now this is my feedback. Those of you who are Cannondale fanboys, hey listen, I'm not bashing the bike, I bought it, I own the thing, so if I say anything negative about it, that's just my honest feedback, and that's what I'm here to do. I'm not, you know, sponsored or paid to say anything by anybody. So this whole channel is about just being transparent and just sharing with you my thoughts and opinions based on what I personally think. So if I say anything negative, hey, we can agree to disagree, right? All right, so there are two huge things that I've noticed on this bike, and that's comparing to my old Evo HiMod, which I had two of them by the way, and then even compared to other bikes that I've had. I mean, even the inception of this channel, since then I've shown you my BMC Road Machine, Orbea Orca, Factor Austro Van, Pinarello Prince, Cervelo Soloist. I've shown you my Linsky R500, Giant TCR. I mean, all these bikes, I've had thousands and thousands of miles on them. So my feedback is based on comparing to those bikes.
Hey, your boy DC, dropping in here from the future aboard the SuperSix Evo. So since I shot and edited and uploaded the video that you are watching, I've had the bike out on a couple more rides, including today, and I've come away with a few things that I felt like I needed to share.
This bike right now, here are two things that I'm noticing. One, it rides top heavy. So what do I mean by that? Obviously, any bike you ride, you're going to be top heavy in terms of weight distribution because you're the rider, and the rider weight is up at the top, not at the bottom half of the bike. So you are naturally top heavy. However, this bike just rides as if all the weight balance is shifted up. So it's bike's handling is that much different when the weight distribution, center of gravity sits up higher up. And that is what I am noticing right now after a couple of hundreds of miles. Maybe that will change when as I put in more miles on different routes and what have you. So that is one immediate feedback that I could share.
And I still feel that the bike rides top heavy, but I also want to add the bit that it's incredibly light on its feet. Not sure if one has to do with the other, but that on that point where I say that it rides top heavy, that's still very true.
Secondly, I am one with a thought that nobody makes bad bikes right now. I mean, you could go to any reputable manufacturer, everybody puts out good bikes, whether that's a Pinarello, whether that's a Bianchi, whether that's a Focus, whether that's number 22, whether that's a Firefly, whether that's a Cannondale, whether that's a Trek. Everybody puts out good bikes right now. Everybody puts out bikes with the claim that their current model is stiffer than previous model. So,
all right, so this next point you're about to watch, hear me ramble on and on about. I think I might have read the bike wrong when I shot that. Like today's ride, I don't feel the way I said it is even one bit. So, however, on the same token, I think I found what is contributing to the way I felt. So, hopefully with the several more rides, preferably long ones, I'll confirm my thoughts and share with you my final verdict in a full review episode. But let me toss you back to the first initial impression, but there is a caveat to my next point that I'm about to say.
With this bike, what I am noticing is it's not as stiff side to side. Especially I notice this when I'm putting out effort that's out of saddle effort. So if I'm sprinting, now I use that term very mildly. I am not a sprinter by any imagination. So if I'm sprinting out of saddle, or if I'm climbing and I'm putting out effort watts out of saddle, I notice the bike is not as stiff as I'm swinging the bike side to side, as if I could push the bike from the side and it would fold. Obviously, it's not gonna fold. I'm just saying that's what it feels like. But right now, those two things are immediate to me every time I take it out on the ride. So a little bit more long term, next couple of months as I put down more miles and take it on a couple more hard rides on, I'll get a little bit better idea, and maybe my take will change at that point. But right now, after about a couple hundred miles, that is what I am seeing. So with that information, do what you will. That is what my initial first impression is, and I'll be back with you guys with the full review video on this Cannondale SuperSix Evo DC style. All right, so that wraps for this episode. In terms of a sequence of the episodes that I'm gonna put out, I don't know if this one's gonna come out before or after my first impression of the Tarmac SL8, but those two are being compared head to head right now in my garage. So hopefully that brings some value to you if you're considering one of these bikes. All right, that's it. Any questions, feel free to leave them down below, and I'll see you guys soon again. Until next time, I've been Diabetic Cycling. You've been awesome. Keep the rubber side down and be good humans. DC out.